So welcome to this series of interviews with the presenters of the upcoming OCTIA conference, and tonight we're talking to Robin Gutteridge. Welcome.
Good evening, it's lovely to be with you.
Great, so I just have a few questions for you. How did you come to be interested in working online?
It seemed a very natural progression in lots of ways. In my work as a lecturer and tutor, I'm obviously familiar with e-learning, and we deliver a lot of our work online and through e-methods these days. So it was a medium that I was familiar with, and I was really intrigued by the idea of adapting some of those skills, or experimenting, if you like, with some of those skills, but applied to a very different client group and a very different context. I'd also been very much inspired by a tutor on my postgraduate diploma for psychosexual therapy who does work online, and she had spoken about it with such enthusiasm that I'm like, I've got to find out what this is about.
Lovely. So my second question was, where did you get your training? And I guess you found your training through her, or?
I did the Relate training. A lot of much of my counselling work is through Relate, the UK charity for relationship and counselling and support. And I work as a couples therapist and psychosexual therapist. And Relate offer an online training course which lasts about 7 weeks. Okay. So I saved up and paid for that, and had an absolutely incredibly exciting time on the course, and very, very, really interesting, challenging, thought-provoking, stimulating, which is all the things that you want CPD to be.
Absolutely. And now that you're qualified and starting to work online, what you really like about it, working online?
Well, I certainly would still call myself very much a novice, but the things that I got really excited about, particularly through the training course and talking with the group and continuing to work afterwards a little bit and feel my way, is that the identity of the person that you're working with and your identity still seems to come through in either the email or, well, particularly in email. Obviously it's a bit easier for that identity to come through a bit when you've got the verbal and the visual signals with Skype. But online, that individual difference and that individual person, that individuality still seems to come through. I was very intrigued by the fact that, well, my experience is that you seem to get to the heart of the matter much more quickly and much more directly. So it's almost as if this medium somehow removes some of the potential barriers, and I'm extremely intrigued by how that is and how that makes the work. And somehow the relational depth very different. And that's in a way counterintuitive to what you'd anticipate. You'd expect there to be more distance and more barriers, and some of the research says that, but that's not my experience. And then I think that the third thing that really, really struck me, my model is integrative, but my training was psychodynamic, that some of the transference and counter-transference still happens and comes through, and you still have the opportunity to work with that. And again, I just find that fascinating. I'm very much interested in the mechanics of human social relationships, and that's my own research area. So I'm absolutely fascinated by this modality.
Okay, well, thank you very much for sharing your thoughts, and looking forward to hearing much more in Bristol.
I look forward to meeting you all. Thank you very much. See you then.